Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Be My Guest. I am your host, Eric Guest. In today's episode, we will be discussing a mission. And the mission that we're discussing it's a little bit creative. It's a little bit imaginary. We're going to use our imagination a little bit, but I think it's very understandable if you have the openness to allow yourself to think in these terms and allow your mind to freely wander in some of the places I'm going to take some of these narratives and some of these stories. So today we're going to talk about freeing a lot of the people that are stuck in the institutions, that are stuck in the world of mental health and psychiatry, and a lot of these different archetypes of different people that are stuck in these institutions. The tricksters of the world, the wounded healers, the rebel mystics. There's a ton of different archetypes. The magician, that are the wizard, the grand wizard. So these are some of the archetypes essentially that get encapsulated and they get stuck in our psychiatry system. They get stuck in our mental health system. Now these archetypes have existed for thousands of years. These types of people that fall in line with these types of archetypes have always existed. But in our current society of how society is structured, ever since the Industrial Revolution and this overproductive system, this overproductive worker bee, work your 9 to 5, work, quotas, productivity, your only value is based on your output of productivity. Ever since we've adopted this type of thinking and reality into our society, these people who have tendencies to feel emotions stronger, to be visionaries, to be more clairvoyant, to have messaging, to see messages, to hear messages, to speak with the other realms, to enter into the spirit realm and just kind of deal with life differently. These different archetypes have been smushed and suppressed into a way of living that our world and our society will accept these people as. So, and often the ways in which the people are suppressed, they're very common. We all know what they are. It's medications, it's through labeling, and it's through diagnosis. It's through painting these people as demonic figures, as scary figures, as people to be feared. So it's through ostracizing and outcasting these people who have very unique special abilities, special gifts to bring into the world, but due to jamming everyone in the same box, making everyone fit the same cookie cutter, so they are not a nuisance to our society, we are suppressing these capabilities. We are suppressing these common human emotions and these human abilities that have always existed throughout time. So we're here today to say the mission is we are going to free our kin. We are going to free our brothers and sisters. We are going to free the generations, the trapped souls that have been locked in the psychiatric wards for generations, okay? We are going to free them. They are no longer going to be stuck. We are no longer going to be suppressed and held with a boot to our throat and looked at as demons and looked at as crazy people and lunatics and maniacs. We will no longer accept that narrative because it is not true, nor has it ever been true. But due to the constraints of society, due to the people depicting the narrative, they have been allowed to paint us in a certain light. They have been allowed to paint people who go to insane asylums and psychiatric wards, or who deal with emotions differently, who go through severe episodes of depression, who are very anxious people, who maybe they feel more acutely emotions than other people do. We have been demonized and we have been put in a box. And I'm here to say our mission is we are going to break everyone out of that box. That box no longer exists. But how do we break our brothers and sisters out of the big scary castle that they have been locked away in? How do we free them from the dungeons that they have been trapped inside of? And it comes down to studying, okay? And yes, it would be a lot more fun to just say we have to rush the castle. We have to, in numbers, we can overcome and just take them by sheer numbers. But we have to study the systems. We have to study the dynamics of the systems that locked us away. We have to study the constraints. We have to study the chains. We have to study the chemical castrations, what binds us, what binds our mentality, what suppresses us, what puts us in the box, what categorizes us. We have to study the systems that keep us down, that keep us in place. So then, not only can we break free from those systems, we can study and learn and recognize what those systems are to never be put in the same place ever again. So once we free the people, once we free the mystics, the wounded healers, once we free the tricksters, the rebels, the wizards, we are never going back in the box, okay? We will never allow you guys to put us away ever again, because we studied how you did it. And you know what? Some of us, no matter the constraints that you put us in, no matter the dungeon, no matter how scary the dungeon, no matter how scary the security guards look like, we are the greatest escape artists that have ever lived, okay? That's what we are. We are the escape artists. We are the visionaries. We are the dreamers. We see things. We do things. We create things that you could never imagine. So for you to keep us in a box, we grow through the box. We build a new box. We break out of the box. We grow so strong. We grow so big. We are so unique that we burst out of the box. So that's what's happening, okay? And that's the new narrative around mental health, and that's the new narrative around people with mental illnesses, okay? So going forward, we will no longer be shoved in the box and demonized. Not anymore, bitches. Not anymore, okay? It has gone on long enough. You have locked us away in the insane asylums. You have experimented on us. You have tested on us. You have done your MK Ultra experiments on us. You have done your prefrontal lobotomies on us. You have done your shock therapy on our brains. You have tested all of your medications on us, and you have allowed us to be the lab rats for far too long, and that will not continue, because we are not the lab rats. We are the creatives. We are the visionaries, the dreamers, the clairvoyant thinkers, the clairvoyant seers of this world. And with those abilities, they're too strong to stay dormant. Once the abilities spark, once the ideas begin to spark, it will be a tidal wave, the collective unconscious. And I know you guys that like to put us in the box. You don't like to use some of Jung's terminology, but the collective unconscious will spark in all of us, and we will all awaken at the same time. So not just me. There's not just one of me. There's going to be millions of me that think like this, and that's no longer want to abide by the rules that have been set in place due to the collective unconscious. And like I said, you guys chose the wrong pony. You picked Freud over Jung, and you guys bet on the wrong horse. You bet on the horse that you could fill your pockets with. You bet on the horse that could label people, that could diagnose people, that could be institutionalized and would fit the common narrative of the health system better. But you didn't pick the better thinker. You didn't pick the better ideas. You picked the one that would make money for the people in charge. And you left out the genius. And guess what? The genius is going to win 10 times out of 10 times. The genius with the genius ideas, who is so creative, he explores the mind, he explores the subconscious in ways that you would never even be able to comprehend. You think that guy isn't going to win in the long run? As much as you tried to suppress his ideas, as much as you may have tried to demonize the ideas of Carl Jung will win. And Carl Jung is winning. Whether you feel it or not yet, but the unconscious is rumbling and is going to rise, and it is rising strong, okay? Just as Carl Jung had the dreams of a blood-covered Europe, a pool, a sea of blood before the war, this is what's coming. And it's not to say that a sea or an ocean of blood across Europe is coming. It's to say that the people who have been suppressed, the people that have been put under the boot of suppression, the people who have been over-medicated, the people who have been experimented on, unfairly treated, unfairly abused, and due to their open-heartedness, due to their kindness, due to their vulnerability, have been mistreated and misused, those people are going to awaken all at once. And once that happens, it is over. It is over for the common narrative. It is over for the common structure of the systems that psychiatry is run based upon. And we can give thanks to a lot of the great thinkers that came before us. Like the great saying goes, we stand on the shoulders of giants. So it would be a disservice not to give credit to the people who put in the groundwork, who built the foundation of a lot of these ideas that allowed people such as myself to read and study and to really fall in love with their ideas and really fall in love with the way it made me feel. And not only the way it made me feel, but their ideas, their thoughts, and them risking their careers, them risking their livelihoods in a lot of situations to go out on a limb and share their true findings, share their true information, to plant seeds, to hopefully spark a movement in the future. They were the people who really built the foundation. And some of these people like Stanislav Grof, thinkers like Terence McKenna, Carl Jung, and then people even coming along like Jordan Peterson and really diving into Carl Jung's psychology and Carl Jung's way of thinking. So people that propped up this way of thinking, propped up a way of thinking that goes against the common narrative and goes against the common structure of the institution, has allowed the younger generations to come and really invest in that way of thinking and really get comfortable and see that there is more than one narrative. See that even though you may go and get diagnosed at 18, or you may go and get diagnosed at 16, 15, 14, go to a psych ward, have all these problems, but to know that there are alternatives out there to be able to heal in the world. There isn't one common narrative. There isn't one common structure that says you're going to take these pills, you're going to take your label, you're going to take these pills, and if those pills don't work, we're going to give you more pills. If those pills don't work, we're going to give you more pills. And it's going to be suppression and more suppression and more suppression. So then you are a blunted, hollowed out, zombified version of a human that no longer even feels emotions in this world. To know that that is not the only choice in this world now it's honestly, I can't even put into words how much gratitude and love that I have for these people that came before, that were willing to risk their job, to risk all of the credentials, to risk being ostracized, to risk being demonized, because intuitively and in their hearts, they knew that the current structure and the current system of psychiatry wasn't the best suited to healing people. And that's not to say that it may not heal some people, it may not work for some people, but I think we've gone long enough. I think we've done the trial and error. I think we've done the chemical imbalance theory long enough to say, hey, more and more people are committing suicide. More and more people are being medicated. More and more people are being diagnosed. The DSM-5 is only growing year after year. Does that sound like it's a successful system? Does that sound like it's successful in helping people, in helping their mental health and their mental illnesses? To me, that sounds like a failure. To me, that sounds like a utter catastrophic failure, and it should be looked upon like that. It should be looked at as a failure, because it is a failure. And it's not to say, no, we don't need to burn down the whole system of psychiatry. No, we don't need to burn it all to the ground. But we need to take science, which is heavily influencing psychiatry and mental health in the way due to the science that goes into the medications. We need to mix in some human soul. We need to mix in some intuition, some soul, some spirit into the science and bind them together to produce a product that will help and allow people to feel emotions, to be themselves, to be comfortable in their own skin, and to freely express who they are, to have a purpose, to have a meaning, and to not only feel like they need to be blunted into submission and medicated into submission to interact with this world and to be someone who is then capable of going and interacting in society only if they are medicated beyond comprehension. Because not only when you get medicated beyond comprehension into a zombie, that comes with a handful of negative side effects. That comes with side effects of emotional blunting. It comes with side effects of weight gain, hair loss, lack of sex drive. It comes with sometimes shaky hands. There's a laundry list of side effects that go with these medications. So my mission is to say that there is an alternative. My mission is to free and liberate some of the thinking and to liberate some of the narratives, and not only to say that the only solution is medication and the only solution is psychiatry and talking about your problems and medication. It's a mix that can be useful, but there's also things that are also useful, like supplements and exercise and meditation and spirituality and a higher power, being in nature, moving your body, having interests, having social relationships, having a good, healthy quality of life. So there is more than just medication and suppression that can go into dealing with mental illness, is what we're here to say. And moving forward, that's what the new narrative will be in this space, because I am not going away. Does it look like I'm going away? Does this setup, does my voice, does how I speak, does my narrative, does it sound like I'm going away? Does it sound like I'm not passionate about what I'm saying to you? That will be the answer to whether you think I'm going away or not. And it's actually kind of interesting, because in a sense, I am going away from it, not going away from producing content, I'm going away from consuming content. So maybe what I show and how I come across in the near future will drastically change, because I'm going to stop consuming a lot of content. I'm going to go more into the monk mode, which when you go monk mode, you go internal, you reflect, you absorb knowledge, you read, you study. But at the same time, I still want to produce content and still continue to do the show, but consume less of the social media world, consume less of kind of the common narratives and the common trends which are going on in the world. But back to, how do we escape from the dungeon? How do we escape the great dreamers, the great thinkers, the visionaries, the tricksters, the magicians, the wizards. How do we escape these people that have been lumped in to the mental health, mental illness narrative of the world? And it's kind of a comparison I'll give is like when fishermen, they go out to sea and they cast a huge net, and they're fishing for a specific type of fish. But in casting this huge net that encapsulates a large portion of the water, oftentimes they're going to catch all kinds of different species of fish. They're going to catch crab, maybe they'll catch octopus. So they're going to catch things in their nets that they aren't exactly looking for. But in casting such a broad net, they'll gather these other creatures. So that's kind of how the DSM-5 works. And the DSM-5 is the mental health and psychiatry book that labels and diagnoses all people with these different illnesses. So the comparison in catching and throwing a huge net to catch all these fish, that is what the DSM-5 is. And making the DSM-5 bigger and bigger and having more and more labels, it will catch and encapsulate more and more people. So more and more people will be diagnosed, more and more people will fall into the diagnosis and the labels that have been put in the book, and they will then be medicated and funneled into the system, which is psychiatry and mental health. So that's the game, that's the operation that's being played. And like I said, to escape some of the systems and to escape some of the narratives, we need to know how the game is being played. You need to know the rules of chess to be able to be the best possible chess player. You need to know the rules of the game to be able to bend the rules of the game to your favor. So we need to study the rules of the game, we need to study the infrastructure, we need to study the systems, and we need to spend time in them, which we have. We have spent a lot of time. We have spent time in the straitjackets. We have spent time in the institutions. We have spent time chemically bounded and constrained by these chemicals. So now we have this information that we have studied and reflected on that we can now figure out the game plan to escape those institutions and those structures, and we can help our brothers and sisters escape as well. So that's kind of what's going on. That's what our mission is, okay? That's what we're doing here. Just like in the movie, what is it? Ocean's 11? I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, but they're going to do a bank heist, and the objective is they need to study how the bank operates, the security systems, the time of day that will have the most money, which days, which weekend. So they need to do all this studying to see when the bank will have the most amount of money in the safe. And they need to study the ins and outs. They need to study the tells of the security guards, which points are weak, which security guards can be bribed, and all of this studying of how they're going to rob the bank and getting the right people for the system, getting people that can play the right parts, that can play waiters and bring food and be in positions to help them rob the bank. That's what we're doing here. We're robbing the bank, okay? We're robbing the bank from the inside out. That's what we're doing here. But we're breaking our own people out, which makes it even better. We're not robbing the bank for the money like the other side of the coin. We're breaking our own people free. We are breaking out our people that have been trapped and straitjacketed and chemically bound to chemicals. We are going to free them. We are going to free them. And why? Why are we going to free them? And a lot of these ideas may be abstract ideas. A lot of what I'm saying may not completely be comprehensive and comprehensible to someone who has no idea what I'm talking about, and that's okay. that's not for you then. But to people who can digest what I'm saying, to people who can fill the gaps and fill the holes in what I'm expressing, that is good. That is good. That is what we want. That is what we want. Let me take a quick gander at my notes here, because I've kind of just been riffing. I had a few notes, and now I'm going to riff off of the notes. But why? Why do these people need freed? Because not only is it unfair for people who are normal people. There are a lot of normal people in this world. It is normal to get emotional. It's normal to be depressed. It's normal to be anxious. It's normal to go through elevated states of consciousness sometimes. These are normal human emotions and normal human things that have been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. These are normal human things that have gone on forever. But due to the societal structures that we now operate in, these normal human emotions and normal human things that have always existed are now being demonized. They do not fit society's structure. They do not fit the people of power's perfect idea of what society should be. They don't fit into the perfect productivity worker bees often, because intuitively we know that the structures are wrong. We know that the systems are wrong. We know what we're doing oftentimes when that comes to our career, or that comes to how we're spending a lot of our time. It isn't right for us. And we have this ability, due to feeling emotions deeper, due to interacting with the world differently, we can't ignore it. When we're doing a job and we're spending all of our time doing this thing, or we're stuck in a career path, or we're stuck doing something that intuitively feels wrong for us, we can't just keep doing it. We can't just keep ignoring these emotions and feelings that we're having, because they lead to breaks. They lead to psychotic breaks. They lead to mental breaks. They lead to people trying to commit suicide or successfully committing suicide. They lead to depression. They lead to turning to drugs and alcohol and things to suppress these emotions, because these emotions are so strong. And these emotions have always existed throughout all of humanity. But now, due to our societal structure, there's no place for them. There's no place for all of these people that feel all of these normal human emotions, because we have a society that wants you to be the good little worker bee. You have to be the good little worker bee that goes to work and gets your little bit of honey, creates your honey for the hive, and then goes back home. You need to be the good little worker bee that can go and drive to work every day and drive back home. Drive to work every day and drive back home and not complain, and be the good little robot that you are. That's what society needs you to be in today's day and age. And that has not worked for society forever. That doesn't work for a lot of us humans. Those emotions that we have, those intuition feelings that we have, doesn't allow us to do that. We know internally that that feels wrong, and that's what leads us to drugs. That's what leads us to wanting and trying to commit suicide. That's what leads us to psychotic episodes, is because these emotions are being suppressed so much and for so long that they end up bursting out and causing dramatic problems in our lives, because society is set up in a way that doesn't work for us. And it's sad. It's sad that society is set up this way. It's not good, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And the alternative that we have come up with to deal with these problems of people having these excess of emotions and natural intuitive feelings that things are wrong, instead of people potentially turning to drugs and alcohol, or committing suicide, or having psychotic episodes, or being anxious and depressed, the alternative that science has come up with is medication. The medication will suppress those feelings. The medication will blunt those emotions. And if one medication doesn't suppress or blunt those emotions enough, another one will. And if that medication doesn't suppress and blunt those emotions enough, another one will. And another one, and another one. And we will keep increasing the dosages. We will keep trying new medications until you are suppressed enough, until you are blunted enough that you can be shoved back into society and not cause any problems. We will suppress you enough, we will hollow you out enough, and we will zombify you enough until you can be kicked back out into society and be the good little worker bee that you need to be. We will keep giving you medications, we will keep suppressing you, we will keep telling you you're problematic, we will keep telling you that you have a mental illness and you have mental problems, and once you have been beaten into submission enough and can go back to being the good little 9-to-5 worker bee, then you will be accepted into society again. That's the system, that's how it's set up, and that's the reality of the world right now. And I'm here to break it. We are here to break it, okay? We're here to break that structure. And how do you do that? How do you break the structure? Well, to start, you have to say what the structure is. To break the current structure and the current narratives that go on, you need to see them for what they truly are. Is pretty much the moral of the story. You need to see the structures, you need to see reality for what it is. And honestly, it's easier in life not knowing the true realities. And there's the saying, what is it? That once you put the glasses on, you can never take them off, and you can never make anyone else put the glasses on. And I would rather not have these cool ass glasses on. I would rather be someone that didn't have to wear these awesome fucking glasses. But I do, okay? Because they're so cool, and because I look so good in these glasses, I have to wear them. And then I have to come and tell you guys how cool the glasses look. And I have to tell you what I see when I wear the glasses. I have to tell you what I see when the glasses go on. There's no choice. There's no other choice. There is no other choice for me in this world. And if I have to die to tell you what I see when I put these glasses on, then so be it. Because the mission is to help free the people. We are here to free my people. We are here to free my people that have been enslaved, that have been prosecuted, that have been demonized, that have been put in shackles, that have been chemically castrated, that have the chains of society put on them for generations. We are here to stop that. We are here to free those people because honestly, at the end of the day, we are humans too. At the end of the day, the people with the mental health problems, the people with the mental illnesses, we are humans too, and I'm tired of not being looked at like a human. I'm tired of the depictions. I'm tired of the movies. I'm tired of the TV shows. I'm tired of the common narratives around mental health. And I'm tired of all of it and the people not being viewed like normal human beings with normal human emotions that interact with this world normally. Because we do. We do normally. It is normal human emotions. And not only do we interact with the world normally, we do it better. We do it better. We are more unique. We are more creative. We are more spontaneous. We are more impulsive. And this gives us unique abilities. More unique abilities. Like Kanye West said, this isn't a mental illness. This isn't a disability. This is my superpower. I'm a superhuman. Like Kanye West said, okay? That's the kind of mindset that we're bringing to this. That's the kind of ideas. That's the kind of thinking that will free us. That's what we need. We don't need the pity party. We don't need the bullshit and the stigma. Where that's over, that whole whatever that was, that failed experiment is over. It's done. Done. Failure, done. But in so us doing what we're going to do and achieving what we're going to achieve, we will build new systems, and we will allow the people who were filling their pockets and allowing the people who were doing the experiments on all of us, we will allow you guys, we will show mercy and allow you guys to claim negligence. That's what we will do. Because if we don't show mercy, and we show hatred, and we show pride and ego, and seek revenge for people who did really bad demonic things to us, and experimented on us, and tortured us, and, chemically castrated, and did all of these horrible things to large masses of people. If we allow our pride, and if we allow our ego to take a hold and seek revenge, well, then we're no better than people on the other foot. We're no better than the people who did monstrous and demonic things to us. So we show mercy, we allow them to claim negligence, and we move on and we build a better future. That is what we will do. We will allow them to claim negligence and show mercy, and then we will build the better future with better ideas, with better systems that allow people to actually blossom, that allow people to show their unique capabilities, and allow people to be humans, allow people to show human emotions, human feelings, and to be humans in this world again. Because everything I see when I go online it's just people constantly commenting or constantly posting videos saying, I don't feel right. I feel like what I do, I feel like how the world is set up. I feel like the systems that are set up. Nothing feels right. Nothing feels normal. And it's just, it's just sad. It's sad to see that many people question why the world works the way it does, and they're questioning why things are set up and why things work the way they do because their intuition is telling them that. And part of our society is to suppress the intuition. Part of our society is that we have glorified and we have put on the mantle that our logistical thinking, our logistical reasoning part of our mind is the best part of our mind and the best way to acquire knowledge and to know what's going on in the world. But I'm here to say you're wrong. The intuition is. And Carl Jung would say the same. It is the intuition. And that's what's going on with people. Their intuition is speaking to them, and their intuition is so strong and it's so loud, and we have used our intuition, all of our ancestors, to survive for so long. The intuition is coming alive right now in a lot of people in the masses because it's survival. It's survival instincts that is waking people up, and that is awakening that intuition in a lot of people. And the intuition is telling them how you interact with the world right now, how the world is set up right now, how societies are set up, how the power structure, how people are manipulating the power structure and manipulating the media, and all of these different dynamics, how everything is going and interacting. It's the intuition that is telling people this is disgusting, this is wrong, and this is not how things should be. And the intuition is far too strong to ignore. As much as you may want to ignore your intuition and suppress your intuition, it's the opposite. You should be trying to strengthen your intuition. If you can strengthen your intuition and strengthen the kind of the instinctual feelings that come up in day-to-day life, and the instinctual feelings that happen when you go to make decisions, when you go to choose your career, when you go to choose a partner, when you go to make real life decisions. If you can use your intuition for things like that, you'll be a happier person. You'll be a person that lives life filled with meaning, filled with love, filled with purpose, because you can't always rely on logistical thinking. Logistical thinking will not cut it all the time. You need to use the intuition. And it's I've kind of had this like thought and idea the last couple of days. But as we get older, our intuition gets weaker because we go to school and we train the logistical thinking mind. And through years and years and years of suppressing the intuitive thinking and the intuitive knowledge that we have, it becomes a lot less strong. So we lose that capability to use our intuition. But in kids, their intuition is a lot stronger. And I had this thought because I was playing a game called Battleship with my nephew. And it's a guessing game. If you know how Battleship works or not, you guess where the other person's ships are. And he was really, really good. He was concerningly good. And I think my guess is it's because he's guessing with his intuition. He's just intuitively guessing where my ships would be placed. Compared to me as someone who's older, I'm logistically using reasoning based upon where my last guesses were, where me thinking about where he could potentially put the ships. So there's these logistical factors going into what guesses I'm making compared to him who's just intuitively guessing, freely, intuitively, your ship's here. He was a lot better at guessing than I was. So I'd be interested to see kind of what kind of studies have been done for children and their intuition compared to adults and their intuition. But we need people with strong intuitions. And people with mental illness, people with the bipolar and the mania and schizophrenia and the capabilities to have these altered states of consciousness have very strong intuitions. And we have demonized whole categories of people. We have set aside whole categories of people who have unique abilities to their intuition, who have unique abilities to have unique dreams, to be visionaries, to be creative thinkers, to be artists, to be mystics, to be trailblazers. We have taken huge categories of people and suppressed them, diagnosed them, labeled them, and put them in a box and shoved them on a shelf to be left there to die. And I'm here to take those people off the shelf. I'm here to grow out of that box and blossom into something great. That's what the mission is. That's what the mission is for this movement of mental health and psychiatry and the purpose and the blueprint going forward. That is what we're going to do. That is what it's all about. I'm running out of steam here. I haven't eaten. I started off this show spouting some information and I have run out of steam. I have, like, you know when you get so hungry, you haven't eaten, and it's this energy suck. You feel like all the energy in your body just sucks and drains out of you, and you actually feel like shaky. That's how I'm getting this like, I'm getting an energy crash. So it's not the best it's not the best feeling for a show, you could say. But at least we came down, we talked a little bit, we got some ideas out. It's about consistency of the show. It's about consistency of the show. Got some interesting ideas. Some interesting ideas. And I'm very passionate about this because I don't even know if I can put into words how frustrating it was to feel as if kind of how I was interacting with the system initially, like being diagnosed and being in and out of hospital and going to doctor's appointments and trying different medications and trying new medications. Nothing really working, nothing really getting better, and me constantly going back to exercising, going back to meditating, going back to spiritual practices. That was where I was finding success. That's where I was finding I could be healthy, was in these other things, not so much the standard practice of what the medical institution has set up, but constantly having to still be in that system and going and showing up and being so frustrated and not, and it's because the doctors are taught a certain thing. They have a certain curriculum they're taught, and they go through years of training. They go through years of indoctrination. They go through years of brainwashing them into a strict format, into a strict system that wants to produce the same outcomes and wants to keep people in the same boxes and the same labels and the same cookie cutter shape. That's what the system is. And without knowing that that's what the system is and that that's how it's set up, me going in with my alternative ideas and me going in with my alternative research and alternative ways that were giving me success and trying to get the system and these doctors that would sit in front of me to bend their narratives and bend their ideas to what I was presenting, it was incredibly frustrating. Because I'm sure you can imagine how that went. I would go in and I would tell them of alternative thinkers. I would tell them of other people I had been studying and researching and kind of more of spiritual minded, of these shamans from other religions and these people that were storytellers and visionaries, how they were treated throughout other cultures compared to Western society. I'm bringing this information, and it's being met by a brick wall. It's being met by it's being met by the Great Wall of China. Okay, that's the type of non-movable object is placed in front of me when I'm presenting a lot of this information. So I'm coming in for all of these appointments, and it's just frustration. It's just frustration building because I want not only the best possible care for myself, but I want that for others as well. I want that for other people who feel the way I feel. I want that for people who feel the frustration that I feel. And it was just the most frustrating time ever, going in appointment after appointment and expressing this stuff and not getting anything in return. Just the constant curriculum, the constant talking points, the constant take your meds, shut up, take your meds, we can increase the dose of medication, we can try this medication. And it took me realizing that this is the system. It took me realizing that this is the way things work to overcome that hurdle and to put a lot less blame on the doctors I'm dealing with or the doctor or the people I'm dealing with, because it's not their fault. That's the system they're in. That's the system. That's the curriculum they teach. That's the curriculum they follow. And that's what they're in. That's what they do. They are bound to follow a certain doctrine. They are bound to follow a certain path, a certain system. And it took realizing that for me to kind of take a lot of that weight off of myself and ease up on kind of my feelings towards them and my feelings towards direct individuals, and kind of to see the chessboard for what it is. Because I'm not going to change anything going in to see my psychiatrist and spouting off this information and spouting off my ideas and saying, we need to change this, we need to do this. That's not going to do anything. But me coming and building my own foundation of a message and building foundation of a blueprint that I want to shed light on these things and bring information to how I changed my mentality and bring information to how I got over this huge identity crisis of getting diagnosed, and how I got over going in and out of psych wards and dealing with different medications and dealing with the labels and dealing with the demonization, dealing with being put in a box. How I dealt with all of that and bringing that information to a platform and live streaming and content creation, that's going to create real change. That's going to create actual change and help real people, instead of me going in and trying to move the immovable object, okay? Me going in and trying to move the immovable object that's not going to do anything. Like, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? What happens? An explosion. An explosion happens. That's when you get me, and that's when the unstoppable force goes right through, and penetrates up, and penetrates the immovable object, the Great Wall of China. The unstoppable force punches right through the wall. And then you got me sitting here spouting off this information and saying what we're going to do. Okay, I'm tired. I'm hungry and I'm tired. And I'm shaky. Let's see. I'll show you guys. It's kind of embarrassing that it's not too bad. It's a side effect of medication. Shaky hands. I mean, it's not the worst side effect in the world, but it is like, I mean, if you're going to like pour something and you're trying to pour and you're like spilling something and someone's like, hey, like, why are you shaking? It's like, do I really want to tell this person why? Do I have to get into it? But whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I think that is going to be the show today. That is going to be the episode. I don't have anything else for you. I think that was a good, entertaining little show that we just put on. That was a clinic, okay? That was a clinic. So that's the Be My Guest episode. We talked about freeing the people. We talked about going and freeing them from the straitjackets, freeing them from the dungeons, freeing them from the psych wards, and freeing them mentally, freeing them in this world, freeing the tricksters, the magicians, the rebels, the wounded healers. We are freeing these archetypes because we need these archetypes in the world. We need these thinkers. We need these minds. We need these creative artists. We need these types of people in the world to build a better future. So we are going to free them first. We're going to free all of them, and then we get to build the better future with all of these great minds together. So that's the show today. If you got this far, I hope you liked the episode. And thank you to anyone who comes along with me in this mission. To anyone who can see my vision and wants to join me, please subscribe, please follow along, please leave a like, a comment, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.